Record. All right. David, can I see the time, the date a little bit higher so we can start the recording and start it?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you go up so that I can introduce the dates and
yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning, good night, everyone. This is July 19th for MicroProfile Marketing Hangout. Welcome. Right now, I am Niha, who is the steward with Cesar for July, has asked me to cover for this today. She had an emergency, so I'm covering her. So thank you, Debbie, for co-hosting for the minutes. You are going to be the steward for August. So I imagine that Neha is going to onboard you in the next few days so that so you know exactly what's going on.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. And can you please make the font a little bit larger? It's a little bit too small. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to try. I made my screen full screen, so now everything kind of disappears on me.
Yes, this is why I'm not sharing, and it's always someone else. Otherwise, I can't do both things.
Let's see. I don't know how to make it bigger.
Okay, sometimes there is something that says so 100%. Do you see that? You can make it 125. You go under below insert. No, below insert in the view, below the minutes insert. Then below that there is 100. So the 100% insert below insert.
Next line, yeah.
Gotcha.
There, that one, and then make it 125. Perfect. All right, Debbie, you're being onboarded. Remember, 125, 125%. This is live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Here you go. My name is not even added. I will add it in a moment. If your name is not added into the list of microprofiles and attendance, please add your name to it. There are 6 microprofilers and attendance. Let's go into general. Okay. So Niha and Cesar have been added. Cesar was added recently by himself as a co-host, and I'm not sure if he's in the call today. He's not. Okay. So anyway, I'm covering today for Niha, and she will onboard Debbie. So Debbie, connect with Niha. You can file a ticket. You need to file a Git ticket so that anyone in the calls can use that ticket to communicate with you anything relevant to the discussions for August. All right. So that is all part of the onboarding. Since you're here and you're co-hosting with me today, I am helping out in being a part of the experience.
Okay, I'll set that up.
Yes. The next item is Zoom calls. The Zoom calls for the marketing working group, what we have for trademarks and etc. that are related to items added to the program plan for 2021 happened or were set up by John and myself at the end of Q1, and we had them strategically here and there in Q2. My question for everyone in this call is, do you believe the calls were important? And do you believe that from time to time, having them scheduled and used as we did for Q2 is relevant for Q3, as there are more items that we need to tackle that will consume the entire hour, and we must protect this time that is about update call, that is all general and not only for working group matters. And what we want here is there is a Git ticket, and we want +1, -1, and explanation, but also this call can be used for saying, hey, no, or X. So feedback, please. If you don't understand what I just said, ask again.
You mean if we need these extra calls?
Yes. For example, for Q2 with John, we set it up every alternative Monday, And though we didn't have them every alternative Monday, I was the lead for those calls. And I said, only strategically send the agenda and said, on this call, we will talk about one topic or two topics. And that is how we have been using them. And a few of you have been joining and we have been moving forward. So we don't have this call set up for Q3. And my question to everyone here is, do you consider them valuable? And can we, if so, please use the Git ticket or this call to say yes, +1 or something, and just write it out. From the Tommy Tribe perspective, we believe the calls are valuable, but we're one member and it doesn't matter if you're a vendor or an independent. We want to hear from you.
I think,
oh, sorry, go for it, Debbie, sorry.
sorry. I was going to say, I think that they're good when we have something to talk about, but I'm always confused why we don't use this meeting to talk about some of the stuff. Like why it needs a separate meeting to this one.
They are not only about marketing, there are some other things as well, Debbie. It's for everything related to working group. But for Monday meeting is about marketing.
Okay.
Yes, so Debbie, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Amelia. I just trying to follow up with your question earlier. So I think the MicroProfile working group Zoom call is important. Also, is kind of the way to collaborate with Eclipse Foundation. I thought that's some requirement from Eclipse Foundation.
No, it's not it's not a requirement, but it's nice to have, as we are talking about money expenditures, right? So in that call, we can discuss things that they can discuss things that they are doing strategically with the MicroProfile working group and say, hey, this is what we're doing on the marketing side. Like we are sending this legal document and it's for review. And then we can say the document has not been completed, please stop, right? That kind of conversation happened about 3 weeks ago, I don't remember. So it's really important from our side. We just need validation to make sure that so then the calls get added and they get deleted. I always delete them when nothing happens. And on this call, we always say that call will not happen because it is important that we don't waste the time, anyone's time. When the calls happen, they happen because there's something to talk about. The Eclipse Foundation staff is not required to attend the calls, but if they have anything to share, they can attend those calls, and they have done so in the past 2 calls. So yes.
So I thought when we set up a working group, we did say there's a means to communicate. I thought, I mean, originally we said quarterly, and then we will schedule ad hoc calls as we need. We met based on different conversation. But anyway, to put that apart behind us, I think the working group call is important. It's good to have them regular scheduled. If we don't have anything agenda, you cancel it. But it's important to have the placeholder so we know what's coming next.
Emily, please write it in the gift ticket +1 from IBM. Anyone else? And Debbie, do you understand why the call has happened and why it matters? This call is about everything, but rarely a topic will take more than 10 minutes. Like this one is taking a long time, but this is an update call. This is not a work it through call, right? And the call that we have is working group, all subjects about money, expenditures, trademarks, anything related to the working group. That is not only in this call, but it's just like it needs to tackle, we need to solve issues. Do you get it? And on that call, usually the steward of the month doesn't get involved into holding it. It's usually the person that is tackling different aspects of the working group. For example, I have taken the lead on the trademarks because I did it for the Jakarta side. And I am bringing the expertise from that work that we accomplished in 2018 and 19, so that the MicroProfile working group can save as much of the $40,000 allocated to the trademark costs. And that work is being done by the community, right? And then when we're done, then the Eclipse Foundation staff gets to see it and be like, okay, check mark, move on. And instead of the staff having to do that work. So Debbie, do you get it?
understand what you're saying, but I was on one or two of those calls and it felt a lot like this call. Like
Yes, it is. It
topics
does.
overlap. So I don't know that we need two completely separate calls to talk about the same things.
Well, it's not the same things, like Emily explained. It's mostly one or two topics.
Okay.
Mhm. John, do you have any questions about this? Majid, Ed, and if you do have a +1 or a -1, you can say it now, or also please use the Git ticket.
So, sorry, in the Git ticket, +1 means continue the meetings, yes?
Yes, continue the
Okay,
meetings.
and do you
and
want us to
if-
use reactions or to leave a comment?
No, you need to leave a comment like +1 from Oracle.
Okay, I guess I second the idea that it'd be nice if we don't have to discuss the same things at each meeting. So
Mhm.
if there can be delegation to this group, and then the group reports back to the steering committee or to the main, the Tuesday meetings, that would be
Mhm.
ideal. If
Yes.
there was a way to accomplish that.
Yes, we're using the working group forum for updates. And then the community calls have the updates also listed in the agenda.
I mean, it does seem like there's a lot of repeating. So
Yes,
the-
there
to
is
the
a lot
extent
of-
we can try to drive some of that out, I would totally get behind that.
Yes, yeah, there is a lot of repeating, and what is important is that only a month and a half ago, we started using the working group forum for updates because the MicroProfile, the Eclipse Foundation is not required to attend the calls, and they need to collaborate with us, like Emily mentioned. And so that when we send the agenda to the working group, and when we send the minutes and the recordings and things like this, it helps everyone get informed, because not everyone cares, but it's important that we over communicate.
Okay. Are they pulling away because we have asked them to, or?
No, they attend. Usually Paul attends when he
Okay.
has something to say in the trademarks side. He has been attending for the last 2 calls that we had, and it has been valuable. And he's only able to attend because the calls are transparent. We bring the minutes to the working group and we said, we will talk about X. And if he sees that it's relevant for him to attend, he attends, which is exactly what we need to move forward.
Okay.
Mhm. John, do you have questions about this? It's important.
No, I joined one of the meetings and it was useful. +1 from my side.
Okay, so please, everyone write the comments directly in the Git tickets. And then if we get at least 3 +1s, aside from Tommy Trap, that would be, +4, then we are able to move forward with John and I to schedule it and then just go strategically with it. All right, thanks everyone. Now we go into the budget. This one has not been updated, but the budget is up for a vote, and pretty much everyone is voting +1. In the steering committee last week, was it last week? It seems like ages ago. But in the meeting in the steering committee last week, the Eclipse Foundation and the working group members got together. The call is recorded. However, that section was not recorded, in which it was not recorded because the Eclipse Foundation asked for the call for the section not to be recorded. But the summary is, if you have not read the MicroProfile steering committee minutes, is that there is only 1-page document and instead of the entire presentation. And the document, we have tackled the $36,000 that are for marketing and allocated the money as we see fit. And that, in a total of 119.5 thousand have been approved, almost approved. The ballot is not closed yet, but it has been, is up for a ballot. And one of the important things is that a few of the statements that were written in the budget when it was presented in June, once again, second presentation by the EMO, those were complicated and created some misunderstandings. I can say misunderstandings. So in the votes and through the conversations, we have moved forward from statements as the foundation will tackle marketing and tell us what they are doing, to keep most of the power of how we distribute swag and reimbursements and these kind of things with the working group. MicroProfile for the last 5 years has worked with different members who wished to donate t-shirts and bring t-shirts to conferences and things like that. And we want to continue to do so as flexible and as a low bar as possible without complications. And we want to be able to be agile. A few of us, 5 of us, felt that the few of the statements in that presentation back in June were off and not representative of the work that we have done in the past. The numbers are listed here. So the conversation continued to be into a halt for every conversation we had via the working group forums and the community forums. The Eclipse Foundation came back and said, no, there will be no changes. We can't change. But finally, in the steering committee call last week, they just brought one document, and we will move forward with the assertion that we can work together. John, I think you want to say something here, and you wrote something super nice using your feedback from the work you do in another projects for the across the Eclipse Foundation, correct?
Yes, in the Adoptium working group, there were issues like that, and the project was moved from the LGC to Eclipse Foundation with a lot of accounts, existing accounts, and they were transferred. So basically it's possible to add new suppliers to Eclipse Foundation. What we established to monitor the expenses was a budget committee which works closely with the Eclipse Foundation and tracks all the numbers. And we also made the source numbers available to the working group members, not to the public. Only the final budget is published to the public, but for the working group members, and not only the steering committee or budget committee members, they could prepare themselves where these summarized numbers came from, and yeah, can ask specific questions then. And I think that it should be possible. There's some issue with the accounting system of Eclipse Foundation, but it should be possible basically to get a summary from the accounting directly. So the account expenses are transparent. Maybe it would be a good idea to establish a budget committee if necessary.
Yeah, we would be a little bit less complicated than that, since we are finally running this. Once the budget is approved, we will discover what we need. But it was really fascinating that you followed your votes with such a insight, because we have been asking for it and the answers have been no. And now, you know, there are some, you know, some groups that are doing it, and it's nice to see. The plan is for the working group budget to be listed under the working group page. And we have the spreadsheets that is also listed, and that is public and will be also added. We have it at the moment distributed by quarter, and it will show where $100 go, because we have everything distributed. We are, like in MicroProfile, we want to make sure that there is full transparency, so that every member and every future member doesn't wonder, where does my money go? And what is the community or users or you name it getting from it, from my money in my resources, right? This is beyond the code. So I think we are moving in the right direction. Ed, I'm not sure if you have anything to add on this, since you're working on also on the Jakarta side, and you know, in that side, we have no transparency whatsoever, aside from big numbers.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't say there's no,
sorry, Ed.
I wouldn't say there's no transparency, but I think you're definitely pushing for more.
Yeah, we are definitely pushing forward. So this is a positive, and we're pretty excited that finally the budget will get out of the way so that we can do things. And the things that we haven't done before, like updated t-shirts, and do all the things that we have been wanting to do that we cannot do yet. So questions about this? Anyone else has anything to add? Because it's important.
Yeah, I think there was an offering by Sharon that we could have a discussion with Eclipse Foundation on the steering committee mailing list to ask these requests, and we should do that. I think I can copy my comment there, and then
Yes,
we can request an answer from Eclipse Foundation to that. I think.
yeah, John, the reason why some of us have not followed on that message is because it's a ballot vote and not a discussion. However, we can write anything in it, right? It's not. So then my recommendation is, yes, please copy paste and start a new thread about budget. And then that thread, we can do a steering and also working group, both. It needs to be transparent because that is how we prefer to work. And one of the things that happened is that the steering committee, no one that is not added to the mailing list can reply to it, or can, because it will be rejected. But it's nice for us to have that kind of visibility so that the entire community know that the conversations started. So you will need to use both the working group and the steering committee, and like that we move forward. FYI, are you ready to do that?
Yeah, I can do that. Then I send it to both mailing lists.
Yes. Yes, and the coolest thing is that you are bringing staff from the London Java community who has been behind the creation of the project. So it's really, really cool to have some support from experience. So thank you so much for sharing. David, can we go to next topic? Is there anything else that anyone wants to talk about budget?
Amelia, I just wanted to check. So the ballots are held on a list that anyone can subscribe to. So
yes,
so
the ballot, yes.
You just have to have an Eclipse account to subscribe to it. You must be subscribed. That's the limitation. Right?
Yes, yes.
It's not like it's a list that people cannot subscribe to or cannot look at the history of. So correct.
The working group, any working group under the Eclipse Foundation can have any subscriber, and you just go through pending and then gets clear, and then you can send replies. However, the steering committee, marketing committees, and things like that for any project, those ones are private for some reason and not archived. Most of them are not archived, at least the steering committee. The marketing committees can be archived, but not the steering. The steering committee can never be archived. So I was talking about
right. But the voting is held.
Yeah, the voting.
That's all.
Yeah, yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
So,
totally.
okay.
You're totally correct.
So if any member wants to chime in during a vote, they can do that. I mean, sorry, anybody who's in the Eclipse, anybody who's in the Eclipse community is welcome to subscribe to that list, and they could put something on that list.
Yes.
Right? It's not even limited to microprofilers.
Yeah, right. And even if you don't have an email and unsubscribe, public can find the projects in the mailing list and read anything. It's really cool. Oh, this is perfect, Ed. You just brought us to the next topic. I think you saw the what is it called? The ticket a while ago. That was in June. I submitted a Bacilla bag ticket. You call it I call it a ticket, requesting the foundation to maybe make archivable the steering committee for the MicroProfile working group, so that future members can see what the members in the past have talked about via writing. The reply was that what you see here, the steering committee mailing list under the Eclipse Foundation are not archivable. That means if someone joins in a month from now, and that person can be a guest, or you name it, that person will not know what happened in the steering committee in the past. MicroProfile has chosen not to actually use the steering committee mailing list. We didn't request it. It was put onto us because it's a requirement for all the working groups and we must have it. That is the story. However, now we know it cannot be archived, which means if you're not here today and something lands into that mailing list, that thing is dead. It will be maybe shareable if that person decides to share it with the new member, and it needs to be permissions of anyone in the thread, and it's that kind of confidential structure. So fast forward, I have seen that other working groups like marketing can archive, but not steering committee calls. That is not possible yet, and I'm not sure what it will take. But this ticket is closed, case done. Exactly what Ed was talking about, working groups that are different from the steering committee or other things. It's just what it is. There is nothing we can do.
So email gives you asynchronous delivery, right? So if you're a member of the list, right, you'll get the mail if you're not here. It's not like it's not like something like Snapchat where it would disappear because if you didn't look at it in the time.
Yeah, it will land into our mailbox. What we're talking about.
You're correct. If you are not subscribed and a mail is sent, you cannot retrieve it.
I think it's two separate things. This is talking about the private list. My understanding is because it's a private list, if you join like in 2022, we discussed the matters in 2020, is you didn't pay any fee in 2020, and you didn't have the voting power and etc. And if you do, all the decision has been made and etc. So that's fine. Because your membership will effectively from the minute you join, so you are like internal to the steering committee from then on. However, if you want to learn the background things, I'm sure if someone reads questions and other people can help. I don't see it's a bigger problem.
Yeah, and you're correct, Emily. We document most of stuff and we vote via public just because of this. The MicroProfile working group has chosen to have only one working group mailing list where all the ballots are enforced, and there are no private voting whatsoever. There is no private steering committee calls, and this is why we do that, and everything is recorded. Clearly in recordings, like we have seen twice, we have been asked by the EMO, which is the Eclipse Foundation staff, to not record something. Usually it's about budget, and we must abide to any member stating they prefer for something not to be recorded because it's their right as participants.
Yeah.
Do we go to the next one? Debbie, thank you for sharing. Anything else on this topic about mailing lists and things like this?
So in theory, most consequential decisions get minuted in some meeting form, right? So if somebody is trying to get up to speed, they can review the archived meeting minutes. Right?
Yes,
yeah,
of course. And also what we're doing with John lately is adding the recordings to the YouTube channel and adding the link of the minutes for the bookmark of that call. That is something new and sometimes we forget. Actually, it's John, and now Emily, you have access to that, and you ought to be helping with the uploading of the videos because you have access to Zoom. You are the third admin, and we will talk about that in a moment, which is a ticket here. But Ed, you're correct. We are doing our best now to make it even easier to locate the minutes by adding them into the recording. When we export the recordings into YouTube, we add the link into that description so that it goes directly to the bookmark for the call and everyone can see. And clearly we don't document or write everything up. We're pretty bad on that, but we do our best. If you listen to something, you will know exactly what's what. Okay, compatibility. We are pretty much at the end of the designs submitted by the community. We have, I think, 5 different choices. And Emerson and Ryan are working on the last one, updating one last ticket. Emerson is not in this call, but via Git issue, Emerson is adjusting some things in his design. And once that is completed, we will start the voting. In a previous call about a month ago, this group decided that it was a good idea for the MicroProfile community via the forum to vote on electing the new logo. We are going to use a free or something like SurveyMonkey or something to allow those votes to happen. And the only thing, I think the only requirement is for that person to be a subscriber. So it means the email needs to match the membership. If you were in that call and you have anything to add, please say it now. Otherwise, we move to the next topic.
I think Emerson made the change, by removing the pin already. Maybe I think in one of the Git issue, if I can remember correctly. Maybe it's for Ryan to update the PDF again.
Yes, so we were waiting for Emerson. Emerson did it, and now Ryan has to do this, and then we will complete it. And one important thing is that we already brought this update, and we showed what we have created, so that everyone is prepared for the vote. And we brought that update to the community call I think it was two weeks ago, if I remember correctly. So the update is there, everyone is informed, everyone is aware. What we haven't done is started the vote because we're still working with Emerson. And I think that is pretty much almost completed, as Emily mentions, which is so cool. Okay. Since we are working on the compatible logos and stuff like this, we know that we need to work on a compatible products page. And that design is going to take actually no time. Many of us have been behind the creation of the Jakarta products page and the templates. So we know exactly what is needed. And this is something that the community will do. We will not pay the Eclipse Foundation to do that work. And this was discussed in one of the Monday branding trademark calls that we had maybe almost 2 months ago, where Paul from the Eclipse Foundation brought a spreadsheet with responsibilities and tasks to be completed. And the spreadsheet is not added here, but I just realized that we need to add it. So we need to add it here so that everyone can see the responsibilities. This will be done, but we're still not there because we don't have the logo. As soon as we have the logo, it will be easier for us to add all the members. Clearly, we have now MicroProfile 4.1 and we have out, right? But we don't have the logo, so there is not much we can do. Right, Emily, and maybe you have something to say here.
So I have a question for this one. So for this page, am I right? We host this page under MicroProfile.io.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Because in Jakarta is direct. It's the kind of looks like yeah. In the
No.
Gives the website.
The Jakarta website is being construed, and I think maybe Debbie can go in. We will not talk about the different project here, but the Jakarta website was created back when with Bill Shannon and Tommy Tribe. And what we did for that site is we use PRs. Anyone in the community can submit tickets. That means PRs and help improve the website. The templates are pretty fluid. However, it is time for the website to be revamped and made a little bit more fluid. There are many, like Emily, you said, you click on something and it brings you to another page in another website. That is not possible. A website needs to learn it in itself. When we created it, we wanted it to be on one piece, but then it got to be divided more and more and more because the Eclipse Foundation infra was using something else. Now that team has noticed that it's too hard to sustain a website that has so many different, like I call it routes, and they need everything in one, right? So for the sake being, because it's too costly to have different pages everywhere and so many different things all over and not keeping the viewer in one site, you know, everything is being compromised or is stuck into one website like the MicroProfile website, right? So it should be cool. And we're going to do this kind of page in the website. It's going to be products page, implementations page, etc.
Also, we need to discuss properly in tomorrow's meeting about how to, submit the request. Do we just submit a request under MicroProfile dash working group, that GitHub issue, or anywhere else? So basically, we need to chain all these actions together.
Yeah, in the plan, when we talked about a month and a half ago, when the spreadsheet was presented, is that we can use the MicroProfile working group repo to submit the PRs, not the PRs, but the Git issues that say this implementation is compatible. These are the links. And then when they do that, that ticket gets assigned to the Eclipse Foundation. Only the Eclipse Foundation can prove that it can police the IP. That is the reason we are a working group. We're forced to be a working group because of the IP, and only the Eclipse Foundation, they are literally, that is their job, right? And they can do that as part of what we pay for already included. And they have been doing it, and they do that for all the almost over 400 projects, right? It's just so cool. So we will tackle that also. And that needs to be tagged in the community call so that everyone is informed.
Yeah, so once they approve, and then we have to sync up from the website to that ticket, and then you can push add the logo, corresponding logo to this website.
And what is so cool about this is that in the MicroProfile website, we have everything called to actions. You have a session, speaking about too much MicroProfile, you submit a Git ticket and it brings you directly from the website to the Git. That is so effortlessly. So we will do the same here with the guidelines. It's like a template like we have done in the past that says exactly what to do, so that it goes iteration and simplification, which I find, and I think everyone here finds appealing.
Yeah, I think once we get that all done, I think we also come up with some template, issue template.
And you know,
logos.
Yeah, and I think, Emily, you will volunteer with someone else, hopefully, to do that. We all do it together.
Yeah, that's fine. And once we get a conversation going, we have the template, we have the red information people agree on, and then we can add it to the template.
And iterate, and then we change that that thing with PRs. So let's go to the next topic. This is going to be super cool, and all of it is linked to the trademarks. And this is also linked to the trademarks. We were talking about that spreadsheet we saw 2 months ago. Debbie, can you link to it so we can show it? And thank you again for sharing. The spreadsheets here in the MicroProfile trademark and compatibility program components, that one, yes. Here we go. If you haven't seen it, please see it. If we go to the bottom, I see some comments. We tackled this on a call, and then this was sent to the forums. And what we have is EF ongoing support. What we have to discuss is about maintenance with the trademarks and enforcements. And I think we have no choice on that one, because we cannot police who is using the trademarks or not. And I think that might be from the Eclipse Foundation, but we will need to discuss. But the administration of the branding and compatibility program is something that we can do ourselves. And this is why you see here working group member, right? When you see working group member, that means that we will own it so that we don't have to pay the Eclipse Foundation for that service. Everything pretty much here on the ongoing will have to be paid by the working group budget. So one of the things that I did after that call with the review is add a follow-up with MP working group responsibility that didn't exist before. And once we discuss, as Emily mentions, we will have to move a few of the items like item 28, right? Because we're going to submit a Git ticket and tararara. And then a specification process, implementation, and administration. I believe we can also do that, but that will be done by the steering committee because it's talking about implementation and administration, right? So these two topics we need to discuss in the working group calls. That means community calls. Questions about this document, please. There is the minutes bring you directly to the forum mailing list where you can start a discussion and ask questions, which are better than saying so in a call. So if you have any questions after this, use that link, follow up questions there. That is the best way to go because there is not one person that know it all. And that is how creates much more scalability on knowledge transfer.
So for the trademark, that spreadsheet is owned by Eclipse Foundation. In the past, there's a couple of actions. I believe we have done all of the actions so far, right? It's back to Eclipse Foundation. There's no more actions from us. Am I right?
No, we're not complete. The Eclipse, the spreadsheet is not owned by the EMO, it's owned by both the working group and the Eclipse Foundation. We're both responsible. And at the moment, not all the items in the upper section above the ongoing support are completed. For instance, we have the logo that needs to happen. And finally, we voted for here. So we have the logo. So I added a Git issue column that adds any ticket that is in the works. And we have the guidelines that is being tackled, but we still need to decide who gets to be told or add the compatible logo into their websites. That discussion needs to happen. And once that is completed, we can finalize the trademarks, right? We need to decide only working group members can say they are compatible members. Can we open it to other members if they are implementations that have completed the compatibility and follow the Eclipse Foundation process? And what will that look like? So this is something that needs to be done. Then we have, you can see here, whatever is crashed, like, what is it called when it's trashed? Like line 12 and 16, that is being trashed by the EMO. In the line 16, I think Ed and a few of us said, hey, we shouldn't have a digital signature. That is extra money. And also, why do we need it? It's just one document. Right, Ed?
Yes.
So then we crushed it. So we don't need to, we will not pay for it. And what we did in line C or column C is we differentiated between the working group, which means anyone. Majid is in this call, and he is an independent committer, a contributor of MicroProfile. He can help in any of these projects, in any of these tasks. He doesn't have to be a member of the steering committee to feel empowered. There are some things like votes that are only possible by the steering committee. Clearly, every member can vote, no matter who you are, but those ones that count are only from the members listed in the steering committee by choice, right? And then we have the artwork, that is line 18, working group. That means we have Emerson and a few other members that have submitted tickets or designs, and this is a work that we will do together. And there is a ticket, and it's not completed yet, but soon to be completed. And then we have the handbook. Manish created that with the help of a few of us in review, and I believe that Debbie, you were part of the review. And that ticket, that will be completed once we have the compatible logo. So there are a few of these items are not completed because the work is ongoing, right? Like the line 23, compatible page. Compatible products or page, we cannot finish that one without the logo, right? So we're moving forward, little by little, right? And here, it's funny because in the line 25, when we were talking on that day, we said we will use Git issues So Emily here, line 25, we say we will use Git issues template to list the required information so any member can list how to be compatible and it can be effortless. So all line 23, 24, and 25, we have created this idea. And who will do it? The working group, right? And we will help create that information. That means not only marketing, but also IT, all of us together can get it done. So this is a TBD, right? And then that's it. I think we can go back to the minutes. Questions about this, because it's important.
Do we know of any products that are going to be applying for compatible status? I mean, because that might
No,
inform us whether we need to try and hurry this up or if we can take.
no, at this time, we do not know. I think maybe IBM.
Yeah, we have, we use the Open Liberty to release the folder one.
Yeah, so it's a,
Yeah, we when we GA, we
it's
use
listed on the ballot, but
Mhm.
yeah, they're nearly done. And
Yes.
then, yeah.
Yeah,
There's-
so
we just need a David to vote, and then
Yeah.
we can close once
Okay.
David voted.
okay, we will vote today. We will
Okay,
vote today for 4.1. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for the reminder. I will make sure that the team votes today.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then like we can try it out. It's a great opportunity to for the photo one try out all the process we have, and maybe the kind of iterative process, but it's a great timing for us to get it right.
Mhm.
speaking from the Jakarta side, we didn't really know where the gaps were until we had people outside of, the committees try it, because, people in the committees all sort of we had developed our own sort of innate knowledge about how it's supposed to work. But when you really succeed when somebody who's not even part of the committees is applying for and receiving the compatibility logo. So, yay.
Yeah.
You totally nailed it, Ed. We need others. We need like implementations that are not attending these calls and not working directly with the working group to tackle the documentation and see this doesn't make sense, and they will help us whatever we write, make sure that it works. So yes. So do you see here, John has something to do with the AxiDoc, and he's already working. We are already working on bringing a clearer MicroProfile specifications process link into the working page. And the task right now is landing into John. And I think he needs to do something that is listed here. It's not completed yet. I think Ryan could help, but he's waiting for John, because we have added the MPSP to the website and it's linkable, but we need to create a page. And John wanted to do something with the page as well. And he has access, but he's on vacation, he's taking PTOs, so we don't go and bother him on his PTOs, right? We have patience. All right, next one, Debbie, you're amazing. Look at you, you're preparing for August. Here, this is about park. We don't talk about ballparks. We go directly to the next topic. There is nothing in here. Blogs. Oh yeah, this one, this is easy. Emily, you and I need to get together and discuss the final review for the MicroProfile block of 5 years. I submitted some feedback, but I haven't seen it, and you haven't pulled me into the document. And if you pull me back in, we can move forward with the review.
I thought you have added access, right?
Yeah, I did. And I added a bunch of stuff for you. And I added you weren't PTO, by the way, when I did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and afterwards I added a lot more
Oh.
in the if you revisit the I think I revisit the doc. I think I added a lot more in the part one.
Okay.
I will go through them again to make sure they are up to date with with your edit and etc.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So Emily,
we can work offline.
yeah, let's do that, because we have a Git ticket for this. So pull me into the big ticket. But when you do any adjustments, you do like what, can you do what I did? I pulled your email and I said, Emily, this, like, so then it pulls me in, because any adjustments that you do, I don't get the feedback because it's not my document, and also because it's a public document. So to bring my attention, because I'm not policing the document, I need to be informed. Either you inform me via the Git ticket, which is my preference, to say, Amelia, I have done the final, one of the reviews. Can you go back in? And then, I go back into the ticket and I say, Emily, it's done. I have added more things. And like that, we can move forward and we can publish it this month. It will be great.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, let's go back to something else. The next one, we don't go into ballparks. Ballparks are there for later if we have time, and we have 5 minutes. Niha is not here. There is Debbie, you are here. So this pretty much falls onto you. You're going to be on board for August, and you have done this kind of calls before in the past few years, but this is different because now we're documenting, so others, anyone in the community can become a steward and do what I'm doing right now. I'm doing a lot of the talking, but also making sure that things are moving forward, and if we're stuck, we move forward easily. That means there is a documentation, and it is your job as in the latest, the one that is going to be next, to review the documentation and say, this doesn't make sense. What about X and what about Y? And then to improve it. This documentation is going to become a wiki under the marketing repo, and it needs to be just converted. And I think Niha needs to do it. So far, 4 of us have been working on this, and I think Cesar was added as well. But it is your job as newcomer and the level of actually seeing the documentation to review it and be like, okay, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, and make it better. I think, Debbie, you're here?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'll look at that before August.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can, Niha has a ticket, like you need to have a ticket for your month or a steward, and Niha has a ticket. So through that ticket, you can say, Niha, what about X? Can we get into a call? Because you have access already, I believe you have access to the code for Zoom, and that is important, but then you need to know other things as well. So definitely check the documents and work with Neha on that, and pull us in if you need any help. You can use this call, you can use your own ticket and add as many different microprofilers to that ticket and say, hey, questions about X and Y, and just be as, don't struggle alone. You know my philosophy, right?
Yeah, no problem.
Yep. So we have 3 minutes to go, and I think everything else. David, you have documentation here. You have one topic. Do you want to talk about it? That is the Zoom admin.
Oh my gosh, that was forever ago.
And it's completed. So
Yes, no, I don't really have anything to say about that if it's completed. I remember John added screenshots. That was the last that I saw.
have you seen the, yeah, have you seen the document? Can you click in the doc draft?
This one?
No, yeah, you can click that one, but you can go into the below. The gift ticket has a doc draft, but I also added it down for you. Yeah, so you go down and there is the draft.
I remember this thing.
It's months ago, and it needs to be converted into a PR. And the last time in the ticket you asked if you could, I think the question was, will you like to submit the PR and own the PR? And what we did is we added a documentation on how to submit PRs. After I saw your feedback on the gift tickets, because it's completed, Niha was one to just convert it and make it a PR that I can merge. But then you submitted this feedback and said, hey, what do I have to do to close this? Which is awesome. And then I said, do you know how to write a PR? And if you do not, what we did is add documentation on how to write a PR into the MicroProfile website and the contributors and on the resources page, and also added under how to contribute to MicroProfile. So you can go into the documentation already listed in the website. And if I didn't add it to the ticket, pull me in and I can add it. And then you can submit the document via PR in the MicroProfile MicroProfile marketing repo and own the document because it's completed, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
So you're saying that that information is in the ticket itself, the PR
Yeah.
information.
The thing is here, hold for me, go down, all down, because this is pretty old. So here, I went in there and I said to you, this one is a while ago. It's not the latest one. My job now is to add the link to the newest documentation to enable you to submit a PR. And I didn't do it. Sorry, I forgot about this. I added that link into a bunch of tickets and I forgot this one because this is too old. We needed this goal. Yeah, too old. Okay. So David, can you add me into this and say, Amelia, can you please share the PR documentation and I will tackle it. We can close this ticket this month.
Okay.
That would be amazing. You will be happy with it, actually, I think.
I'm sure.
All right. So it's 11 in the morning. Do we have anything to say? We have to go.
No, I don't have anything else.
Thanks everyone for joining. Today we didn't take a photo. We went directly to the work. And I think it's because we were talking about Germany and all those things. And none of us felt like snuggly. Snuggly means like buffing and being super friendly in the level. So it's nice to be a little bit more casual sometimes. So everyone have a fantastic week. And we see you tomorrow. Those of you joining the community call, see you tomorrow.
Great. See you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See you
And Majid,
tomorrow. Bye-bye.
you didn't say anything, but bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.